In this video, we're going to learn how to use overlapping vectors to create new and interesting designs and shapes. If you notice on the right side of the screen, we have this beautiful heart shape. Let's show you how it was created. We're going to go over to our custom shapes. We're going to find our heart logo. Our heart symbol, excuse me. And we're going to go to the page. You're going to hit the shift key so you make a perfect shape. Now, once you put that shape down, we have different options. So I'm going to zoom in on our screen here and take us here where we can look at the path operations, where we can see there's a new layer. Every time you use it, you create a new layer, or you can combine to the shape. You can subtract from the shape, intersect the shape, or exclude overlapping shapes. So right now, we're going to do a little subtracting. So we're going to hit the subtract. And then we're going to take and we're going to go over to our page and we're going to make a subtraction. Now it looks normal here. I start by just clicking and then I hit the shift key. And so now I can find the size I want and stay in proportion. And now I'm going to take here this path select, which lets you pick the entire object, or direct select points on the object. Let's go with path select. And if we start to move this around, we can create new and interesting. Let's stay in there with that little thin design that was happening. So you might do something like that, and it might look really pretty like that, or you might want to continue to explore. So here, oops, on the wrong layer, get on the right layer. Click on here, and if I were to break outside and click on it, it looks something like that. Very similar to what I've done up above. So explore that, see how you can optimize that as you're working. Now what I want to do is I want to take that little layer here, and notice here if I keep hitting the wrong layer, so let me be on the correct layer. These are separate pieces still. If I want to combine them, I can grab both of them. I can go over here and we can see where I can merge the shapes and it becomes one unique shape. I can take that, place it up here. I can scale it if I want, right? Free transform. Take it and make it a little bit smaller. Put it off to the side so I can show you the next piece that I'm going to do. Now we're going to explore how to use the type tool and convert that into a shape. So let's begin by taking the type tool. We're going to use the type font impact. I'm going to type the word learn, L-E-A-R-N, and I'm going to grab that and move it over into my page. If I want to scale it up, I can hit Command T, hit the Shift key, and bring it up to a size that I like. Now what I want to do is I want to take that type and I want to convert that type into a shape. So I'm going over here to the layers. I'm going to right click and I'm going to see where it says rasterize type. Sometimes I want to do that. Create a work path. Sometimes that's an option, but today we want to convert to shape. So we do that. And now when I click on them, you'll notice that if I take the path to select, so when I grab it, you see vector points on the letters. Let's begin with that little star that we see in the middle of the E. I'm going to go over to my custom shapes. I'm going to look for a star in my shapes. There it is. And I'm going to come over and I want to make sure that this time I'm not going to create a new layer with it or combine it. I want to subtract. So make sure it's on subtract. Then what I will do is I will come over to the space that I'm at. I'm going to begin, you see the little subtract symbol. I'm going to begin pulling on it. And I want to be once I start stretching it, if I hit shift, I can get the perfect proportions. Let me do that. And then I like to take and use my arrow keys to put me in place. So let's click on it and use the arrow keys to set it in place. Once I'm happy with that, we look at what we've done. We've created this new space. And just like earlier, these objects are still separate shapes. I'm on the wrong layer, my apologies. So if I click here and I click here, they're two different things. So if I want to bring them all together, I select it all and I can say merge components. So now this becomes a very unique and individual E. It has that center. Now let me add that little bit of a long arrow that I've added. So I'm going to go to my custom shapes. I think I have that arrow up here. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to add it to as an extension. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click, I'm going to hit cancel here. I'm going to click on the edge, and I'm going to hit shift and pull upward. I do that so I can maintain my proportions, and right now I want to make the letter go as wide as the arrow. That looks pretty good. So now I can take my path select tool, and I'm hitting the arrows because if I move it I might just mess it up. So I'm just sliding with the arrows, and I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. Something about like that. Right? So now I've got that in place. If I click on the background, I see it looks pretty good. If it's not, take a moment, hit your arrows, and just move it over a little bit. And adjust it as you need to. Now what I want to do is, you'll notice in my picture on the right, I have a longer neck. So I'm going to take my direct select, which lets me pick individual pieces, and I'm going to go from the head of the arrow upward, and it grabs everything. I'm going to take the tip, and I'm going to pull it. Now, if it starts to do that and you don't want it to do that, hit shift as you're doing it. It'll give you a very straight selection. And now when I hit deselect here, you'll notice it looks pretty good. And I think I'm a little bit off here, so let's see if I can correct that. Click on it. Am I on the wrong layer? Am I? Let's see. No, I should be able to move that. Oh, that's direct select. I need path select. Little things, they matter. Okay. So now I can take and combine these letters here. And so, I'm missing something. This is this. Let's merge this down. So here, let's take these two layers, this layer and this layer, and say merge shapes. That'll make it easier for me now. So when I decide I want to bring these guys together, I can go merge shape components. Perfect. And now we're all set. So I hope you can do it. Oh, and here's a little bonus piece, right? If you look here, if you wanted to see if you can get fancy, if you can add this and that, you get a really cool design. How'd I do it? I did it the same way I made these. I just double shaped. So let's see what you can do. Great job. Have a good day.